please explain how not to commit adultery while we are in post. Wow. So as I told, post. Post means that you are given a position of responsibility. First, you should understand that I am not fit for it. You say, if I am not fit, why was I appointed? You did not find anyone else. So they did not find anybody else. So, once, because Ramanujacharya is Tirumala, Tirupati is climbing up the hill, and on the way, his spiritual master, he came to receive personally Ramanuja, Shailapurna, Tirumala Nambi. So when he came down and received the prasad, and Ramanuja told, oh, why you personally came? You could have sent some of your person, your lower person than you, who is lower than you, in the position, disciple or somebody. Then Mahapurna, Shailapurna told Ramanuja, actually I tried out. So all my disciples, who can go and do that? He is lower than me, but I did not find anyone. That is how I thought I should. Who is he? Ramanujacharya spiritual. Can there be a better post than that? And that is what he's thinking. So when you have this idea that I have a post and I am qualified for that is why I am in the post, then you commit offenses. Though you may be doing very good, nicely managing everything, very nicely doing, but if you draw your strength from the post, that is going to be a big problem for you. Others may not have problem, but you will have a problem. That is a problem to deal with your heart. So generally, to execute something, you have two sources of power. One is your spiritual advancement, spiritual power. The other one is the power which you get out of a post, from a post. When you tell something to someone, if you say that you should listen to me because I am the president, I am the in charge, then the problem comes. You can tell you should listen to me because of this reason, and you can explain to him, and then the convince get the work done because of your spiritual knowledge and all. You are kept in the post because somebody has to be there. So you have a temple. The temple has to have a president. And you just cannot be without a president. So they appoint somebody as the president. But he should never think I am a president. Maybe he can execute the duties of a president. He can exercise the powers of a president. But never think that you are a president. What is the difference between being rich and thinking I am rich? One is you are rich, no problem. There is nothing wrong in being rich. But considering yourself that I am a rich person, that is ahamkara. To sing is very good. To think I am a singer, that is very good. Because your identity is taking you away from Krishna. Because you think that you are a singer. You think that you are a preacher. You think you are a rich person. So there is nothing wrong in singing nicely, but thinking that you are a good singer, there is a problem. There is nothing wrong in being rich, but thinking that I am a rich person is a problem. I am a rich man. So in the same way, the post, having a post is not a problem at all. Executing the duties of the post which requires is not a problem. exercising the powers of being a post is also important. But the problem is when you think I am president, I am in charge. And the problem is not with others. That is your internal problem. And it's very difficult to get out. Because it takes you far from the identity that I'm servant of Krishna. I'm servant to the servant of Krishna. Okay. So this is how you can manage your posts. Manage your post is like external, that is all done. You can do according to one's karma. Manage your post actually internally. Manage the post is very, very important. It is first thing, you are not qualified, number one. Second, you are put in a post because they said you not find anybody else. Number three, never ever identify with the post and ultimately never draw the strength from your Janmashtami, you know that? Yeah. So what? Hare Krishna, please say something about how to deal with non-devotee friends in a way to feel Krishna consciousness. Also, how to deal with parents at home. Non-devotee friends. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. वाक्य बड़े चैतन्य महाप्रभु से चैतन्य महाप्रभु इसलिए कहते हैं नाहम विप्रो न च नरपति नापि न पुरुषो न शूद्रो नाहम वर्णे गृहपति न वनस्तो यतिर्वा I am not even a sannyas. But still Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted to execute anything in this world, to do anything in this world, you require a position. Without that, you cannot do anything. Like I told, to run a temple, you require somebody called president, isn't it? To sign a letter to the police station. ISKCON doesn't sign. Somebody has to represent, isn't it? That's called post. अगर प्राइम मिनिस्टर मैं प्रधानमंत्री नहीं प्रधान सेवक you require somebody to represent that position. Like Guru, Krishna is ultimate Guru, but somebody has to give you initiation, somebody has to give you teaching, isn't it? That person occupies that post to fulfill those duties. Now, friends, you say non-devotee friends. First of all, I know that what you are referring to is not, you don't really mean that they are friends. They are maybe your classmates or the batchmates or hostel mates or acquaintance like that. The problem is when you consider them to be friends. Literally, when you say he is a friend, of course, friend has got many meanings. In English, you have only one word called friend. But in Sanskrit, there are 3 words. What is the first one? Mitra. Mitra means what? Mitam trayeti iti mitraha. One who delivers you from limitedness is mitra. Mitatva. Mitatva, you know, limitedness. One of the names of Surya, sun, is Mitra. Mitra. The name of the sun. Bhaskar, like that, Mitra is the sun. The demigod in charge of sun or sun is Mitra. Mitra. In darkness, your movement is limited, isn't it? You cannot move freely because you don't know where to go and all. So when sun rises, you become free. Your movement is there. That means the sun has delivered you from limitedness. Basically, darkness means knowledge, ignorance. Darkness means, so in ignorance, your consciousness becomes very limited. You see things from the perspective of I and mind. So your consciousness is very much limited to I and mind. So when the spiritual master gives you knowledge, your consciousness expands beyond the concept of I and mind. And that is why who is actually your friend? One who gives you knowledge. There's only one friend in our life, one who gives us. This is one of the words Mitra refers to that. There's one more person called Saka. That's also called friend. Friend is called Saka. In simple words, साथ में खाने वाला. पिज्जा नहीं, सिगरेट नहीं. In Bengal, cigarette खाओ. They eat cigarette, drink. They eat water. Anybody Bengali here? They say खाओ for everything. खाओ. College was Bengali saying, cigarette खाओ. He's going to eat. Bengali eat cigarette or what? Then he told, no, jal खाओ. I thought they only think of eating because they eat a lot of fish, isn't it? The fish is always thinking of eating. He eats water. Strange, far out imagination. This shows I am such a good mental regulator. I always wonder why they say carbo for everything. Then I thought they eat fish and fish is always done so. साथ में खाने, it means that a person is always with you and shares your happiness and distress together. It is not that the person who stays with you when you are happy, when you have a lot of money is with you, when you are suffering and some problem comes, he goes away. No, he is always with you. Who is he? Krishna. You go to pig's body, still he is there. Whether you are happy, he is there. If you are suffering also, he is still there in your heart. And then there is Suhruda. Suhrud means one who is your well-wisher. Your well-wisher. I'm going to say a statement. Say it whether it's right or wrong. Two friends are smoking together. Is it a true statement? Can it ever be possible that two friends can smoke together? Can watch a movie together, watch TV together? Yes, we were fast friends, we drink together. No. Two enemies can smoke together. No. Of course, they may consider themselves to be friends, but actually they are what they are, each one enemy to each other. Because if they are really friends, what they should have done, they told other, hey, stop smoking. So actually there can never be any friendship between you as a devotee and a non-devotee. Okay? So since you have written this point, that is deal with devotees, non-devotee friends, since you wrote the word deal, I understand that is very nicely fine. That is, you mean to say that you are talking about acquaintances. You don't actually really mean they're friends. Now, the only way to deal with the non-devotees who are non-devotees but not envious of devotees in Krishna. They may make fun of Krishna, make fun of devotees, that's all there, but not really envious. They don't hate Krishna, they don't hate devotees of Krishna, but they are non-devotees. That means they are innocent. The only way to deal with the non-devotees, actually they are not your friends, is by extending your friendship. By extending your friendship. And how do you extend your friendship? I told 3 words in Sanskrit. What are they? Mitra, Sakha and Sura. So you have to play the role of a Mitra to them. That means deliver their consciousness from their mitatva, eye and mind, by giving spiritual knowledge. Of course, if you directly tell them, you're not this body, so we cannot instruct. But there's a way you can deliver them from mitatva. You have to act that, take it role. Number 2, Sakha means Krishna is actual Sakha, means you, even though they are in misery, especially at the time of misery, you be with them. They can see that all my friends are run away, but this person is. Many of the boys, they join Krishna Consciousness movement and they join the base, and mostly because of this one reason. They were like suffering, and one devotee was with them. And all his so-called friends, they are. Many a times, this has been observed. Not in one college, every college, many places. Sakha, be a Sakha to a person. Especially when the person is very miserable in his field, and mentally hurt, very sick. Be with the person. The Krishna is there. Number 3, Shiva. He may be doing all kinds of nonsense, but always talk to you. You may feel good about all these things. Be with him at the same time. Go on talking about that. It is not in your good. Be a well-wisher. So by acting in this, becoming a real friend in these 3 terms, you can make them, give them Krishna consciousness. Don't ever give sermons to them. Don't ever give lecture to them. Extending friendship is the only way. And 3 is I told you. And also your question was also how to deal with parents at home. Most dangerous. I cannot explain this to you because I did not do. I also asked the same question. Especially when you take a Krishna consciousness, you want to get to married very fast. So they have a fear that you are going to run away and join with them, you are going to become sadhu. They fear. But they don't have a fear that, you are going to run away with a girl. That fear is not there. So what to do? One thing which was very much practical to me, explained to you practically, just become their son. Just become their son. I'm their son, but you never behave like that. You never behave. That means whatever they say, listen. And pay obeisance system. Go down. क्या हो गया? आज तक नहीं किया. अचानक करने लगा. So even they have to scold you, they cannot because you are You become so good. All these years, they were telling you, shaitan kahan se aaya, gada kahin ka. And now, after taking Krishna consciousness, you become so good, nice person. They are having the fear of losing you. At the same time, they know that you become a good person. What to do? They are in a fix now. Surrender. Become very good. Don't talk. Your parents may say, you're the most good person. We are going to die. If you chant Hare Krishna, we're going to die. Understand? I'll kill you. Don't talk. Jad Bharat. You start talking to them. Both will have problems. And do all seva. Means whenever you are with them or your wishes is done work. What do you do? Nothing. So when I had joined ISKCON, my father had told me, "Yeah, we are so busy, shouting, howling. Mangalarti says, please, staying for Mangalarti. Shouting, everybody, Sansara is going to be shouting. Everybody will come to what to do. No. Just for 3-4 days, just service. And every time your visions is in there. I end up send up in the and he was crying and crying and crying. He went home and thought about it. I cannot scold you now. You're so good. But I'm angry. What? Even though they beat you. So this is how you deal with the parents. Because you are now, after taking Krishna consciousness, you are showing them that earlier I was not your son, now I am your son. I never listened to you, now I am listening to you. How to avoid that offensive mentality completely, which comes with a false pride? This is how to use false pride, which at every moment is troubling me. So, offensive mentality, which comes to pride, offensive. Definitely, offensive mentality is there because the condition falls. So, though offensive mentality is there, you can save yourself from offense. You know very well about that point, Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meets Rupa Goswami, says that this Vaishnava Aparadha is like a mad elephant. So, you have nice, wonderful garden. The elephant comes and destroys the garden. And in your heart, you have developed a nice, wonderful garden of Krishna Bhakti, devotion to Krishna. And the mad elephant comes and destroys. So, if you have made a nice, wonderful garden to protect it from animals and elephants, what you do? What you do? You make a fence. You make a fence that no animals can come and destroy. You cannot guarantee animals don't come. Animals do come. But if you have made the fencing, so in your heart you had a nice wonderful garden of devotion to Krishna. And the mad elephants of offenses are coming. And how do you protect that garden? You have to make a fence. And what is that fencing which protects that garden of devotion from the mad elephants? That fencing is known as Vaishnava etiquette. It is called your heart. It is the culture, the etiquette which protects. You don't like a person, you hate a person. Very offensive mentality is coming about. But follow the etiquette. Whether you like that person or don't like that person, you hate that person, whatever it may be. Whatever is the etiquette, you follow. Inside you may have all kinds of grudges, but what is etiquette? Sometimes you don't like a medicine, but you take it. So, there are so many things in your life you have to do even though you don't like. There are so many things in your life you should not do even though you like it. So, that is where the etiquette comes into picture. You should follow the etiquette perfectly. That is why you're trained in the etiquette. Like Srila Prabhupada says, even if enemy comes to your house, you should welcome him with a glass of water. That's the etiquette. Because now that person is not your enemy, no, he is your guest. So you treat him like a guest. In the same way, even though you don't like a person, generally the person whom you don't like or don't want to listen to is your immediate senior. In general, if you go to a corporate company and ask, who is the most useless person in your life? My boss. Most unqualified person. And what you do? You go and tell him you are the most useless person. What do you do? Yes, boss. Yes. Simple. Oh, that person feels but he doesn't know what's going on in the heart. That's how it is. This is how the world functions, isn't it? Sometimes today you're nicely here. Tomorrow I give the class. But still you listen because it's etiquette. It's etiquette. Of course, you may fall asleep, it's all there, but we follow the etiquette. It is be seated in the class so that the person doesn't feel about it, but doesn't even come to know what's going on in your heart. At least. So, your seniors, what you do, they may be the most nonsense person. Just because he's having the post of being senior to you, either in knowledge or in ashram or by age or by post, there are different ways one becomes senior. One becomes senior because of age, knowledge, post, ashram. There may be an elderly person, does that. But a sannyasi comes, he has to respect. So, to follow the etiquette of respecting the seniors. You have a senior in any situation, yes, respect. You are not going to lose anything because you have respected someone. It doesn't cost you any money. उसको क्यों respect देगा? देने से क्या नुकसान होने वाला है? Think like that now. Are you going to lose anything? You're not going to lose anything by respecting a person, even though that person is not qualified. Anyhow, we're not talking about that person is qualified or not qualified. I'm just taking extreme case of the senior being not qualified to be worthy of respect, but still you. Sometimes they may have misbehaved towards you, but still the etiquette demands that you should behave properly. They have misbehaved towards you. Still, Prabhupada writes about it in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna says, Pujarho Varisudana Pratiyotsyami, even though they are sometimes or they are willing to kill me, but still they are Pujarho. I am supposed to respect them. They are respectable people. So this is how you save yourself from offenses in spite of having an offensive mind and mentality, that you respect the and the person who is troubling you the most. Who is the person who troubles you the most? Your friend. Who is equal to you? And you want to chat with a person who is miles away from you. Person is next to you. So, extend friendship. Be friendly. That person may not be your friend, but you can be friendly. That person may not be worthy of respect, but still you respect. That person may not be your friend, but still you give, who is equal to you, what you do? You extend friendship. Number 3. Third kind of people whom you come across, those who are junior to you. How do you deal with those people who are junior to you? Who is the most foolish person? Whoever you find junior to you, they don't know anything. Only I, the person, know. This mentality is there. Okay, it may be true, it may not be true, but still they are maybe fools, they may be mistakes. What you do? You extend love. So I use 3 words: giving respect, extending friendship, and giving love. To your seniors, what you do? Respect flows up. To your equals, what you do? Extend friendship. And those who are junior to you, I have summarized the entire etiquette in 3 words. In spite of your juniors doing mistakes, you forgive. When you allow someone, you forgive. A child kicks the mother, but the mother doesn't feel bad about it. Child, as soon as the baby drinks milk from mother's breast, immediately the strength comes and start kicking the same breast and the same mother. The mother doesn't feel bad about it. Mother loves the child. So your younger brothers or who are younger to you, they make mistakes and they may do something bad to you, but still you forgive. Friends, all right. That's how friendship comes. And those who are superior, that's good. So in spite of one having the tendencies of offenses, then you will not commit. And then comes the false pride. How to remove false pride, which at every moment is troubling me. False pride. False pride means false identification. So how can you replace that? You can replace only with the identification that I am servant of the servant, as I told in the morning class, in afternoon I suppose. That we are just servant of the servant. And you select one devotee and serve that one devotee very nicely. Then the false pride will go. Yes, sir. Because false pride means identification with the body. I am so and so, I am so. And our identity is that of I am servant to the servant to the servant of the Lord. Yes, sir. Sarva Vaishnava. Okay, next. Initially, my consciousness used to be proper. Oh, in the brackets, there's a bare minimum. It's okay. I was able to. Consciousness proper. But now, I see my consciousness has gone even down than before. How do I uplift my consciousness? I will rephrase this. The same question. Initially, I was unconscious about my consciousness. That is why I was thinking it was proper, bare minimum. But now, I am conscious about my state of consciousness. Which is so horrible. So how do I uplift my consciousness? So I am very happy that you are conscious about your consciousness now, and more happy that you want to uplift it. Earlier, you were never conscious about upliftment. You never had a desire of upliftment. You thought, it's okay, bare minimum. Minimum I am doing, very good. I am fine. So somebody asks you how is your day? Fine, thank you. All right, this is the problem. Now you are actually advanced. Congratulations. Now you are advanced. Because now you have a desire to uplift. When you thought that my consciousness was proper, you never had a desire to. Even though it was proper, and even though it has fallen down, that fallen down consciousness is better than the proper consciousness because you have one desire now. What is that? Which you had not. Morning we discussed about this, that how even the fall down in Krishna consciousness is also better because you fell down because of pride, and after falling down, when you come back to Krishna, you come with dainya, with humility. So now, how to uplift my consciousness? Always be in this consciousness. How to lift it? How to uplift? How to uplift? And that will uplift. Always have this consciousness of how to progress, how to uplift. And that will uplift. This consciousness on how to uplift myself, how to uplift, when I am going to hear about Krishna. Acharyas of the world use this word, Kobe. Kobe hobe akuti. When will I develop the desire? Rupa Raghunatha Kobe hobe akuti. When will I develop love for the lotus feet of Rupa Raghunath? When will I develop love for the pada here, Prabhupada translates as the writings of Rupa and Raghunath. Pada also refers to writings, the pada. Kada tava namagrahane bhavishyati. When I am going to have affection for the holy name. There is no affection now, but there is a desire to develop. Kada tava namagrahane bhavishyati. Kobe hobi akuti. Sri Chaitanya manobishtam stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupaha. Kada maham. When I am going to attain the nearness to the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami. I have not attained. No, it's true. I have not attained. But still, there is a desire to attain. When it is going to happen? When? That when is a powerful word. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamahi Kriyatamidi Kutopi Labhyate Tatra Laulyam Vimulyam Ekanam Jatma Koti Jitravedi Labhyate. The laulyam, the greed, I want to become devotee. I want to become devotee. I want to become devotee. I want to experience Krishna Premarasa. I want to experience Krishna's nectar of Krishna's nectarian emotion of Krishna's name. I want. This is I want. And when when the want becomes more and more, when it becomes when. These two are very much interrelated. Like a child becomes greedy to get, I want ice cream. The father comes, okay, beta, you will get it. Immediately what is that? When? So the greed and when is like very much related to each other. So it's a very wonderful consciousness that how do I approve? When will I attain that consciousness? How to get it? So it's very nice. Don't be disheartened. Like when one devotee comes and says, Prabhuji, now I completed the Bhagavad Gita. I'm reading Bhagavatam. Half is over. Now within 6 months, other half will be completed. He's so confident about it, isn't it? We call it confidence, foolishness. Completed Bhagavad Gita. Can you ever complete it? Now tell me what I'm going to do next. He has never completed Bhagavad Gita. He's never read it also. Isn't it? So, don't be having illusory confidence. This morning thing still. It's a little better than my handwriting. Because I know myself. When I write, I don't understand myself. Once it happened in school, I wrote something. I want to correct your paper. You take your paper and you read. I to the paper went on reading. And she told, are you reading what is written there? So, I just remembered that incident. Maybe I thought I'll compose my own question. Okay. Withdraw bliss from spiritual life, it means Vaishnava Prana. Okay. Are also offenses against holy name or offenses also, other offenses also. Yes. Any offenses will result in withdrawal of the bliss from the, but the maximum happens Vaishnava Prana. Especially in Seva Prana, it results in some physical and mental sickness, disease, physical and mental sickness. So, definitely by Vaishnava Prad, the bliss which we get from Holy Name. In other offenses, the bliss is not so much withdrawn, but you don't feel the bliss because of some other things like not feeling well, like that kind of thing. But definitely regarding Vaishnava, you said that one who is getting bliss will preach. It doesn't mean that one who is not getting bliss should not preach or cannot preach. One who is getting bliss, you are getting something, that is why you are here. Otherwise, why you should be here? Already this is almost the 6th hour of my class. 6th hour we are entered. Morning if we can 2 hours, 2 hours. 6th hour. Just imagine, have you ever sat for 6 hours in any of your class in your college? Huh? Once I gave it was a Bhagavad Gita seminar, Bhagavad Gita. Because in Bombay you don't get many people for the weekdays. I used to do it Saturday and Sunday. Saturday it is 6 to 9, 9:30. People come at 6:30, 9:30, people stand. And give a small break in between. Then the next day, generally I start from say 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock. A small break in between. 3 sessions, 4 sessions. What we call divides. So it so happened there were some question answers and in between. So the next day class, Sunday, it started sharp 10, went on till 2:30. Break could not happen. It was 4.5 hours. So one student, IIT student, he's a PhD student. He told that now I am doing PhD, but in my life I have never sat for 4.5 hours for any class, and that too of one speaker without a break. It never happened. It never happened. So why? There are so many seminars also which happen. But people take a break, do that, do that. Why? And you still because you are getting some enjoyment out of it, some bliss out of it. Chanting 16 rounds every day. Why are you doing it? Because you are getting something. Somebody getting more, somebody getting less. You're getting something. To that extent only you can teach. That is for sure. Prabhuji, sadhana bhakti is said to be done by forcing ourselves to do it. So then how will it be blessed in bhakti if you are sadhaka? Why you should force yourself? Even if you are forcing yourself, there is a purpose for which you are forcing. Isn't it? Why other person is not forcing, you are forcing? Why? Why your friend in the other room is not forcing himself to chant 16 rounds, whether you are forcing yourself? Because you are getting something. You cannot deny the fact that there is no experience of bliss. There is. There is. But that bliss is not completely manifest, that is only manifest in the form of kleshagni. At the level of sadhana, bliss is manifest in the form of kleshagni. In the level of bhava, the bliss is manifest in the form of moksha, lagutakrit. And in the level of prema, the bliss is manifest in the form of sangrananda visheshatma. So the complete manifestation of bliss is only happening at the level of prema. But here, the level of sadhana, Klesha Agni, the bliss is manifest in the form of Klesha Agni in the sense that you are getting beaten every day. You're getting 10 kicks every day. Kick it, 10 times. And one day you don't get. You ask that person, how are you feeling? So nice. You may say, you are not experiencing any bliss. No. He is experiencing the bliss of not being kicked. So at the level of sadhana bhakti, you experience the bliss of not being afflicted by the three tapas. But that is not complete although. It is only the minimum manifestation of the bliss in Shuddha Bhakti. But the complete manifestation happens at the level of prema, when you are completely drowned in Krishna prema rasa. Okay? So there is experience, it is none. Otherwise, why you should force? Okay, one day don't force, then you will find that you are more miserable. So you are forcing yourself to chant 16 rounds and doing sadhana not to be miserable. And that is happening because of the bliss within the sadhana bhakti. Topics that may be discussed are dealing with doubts in bhakti. Dealing with doubts, very nice, no problem. Dealing with doubts is that you should always approach Tad Viddhi Pranipatena Hare Prashnena Seva Upadekshantite Jnanam Jnana Sapradesha. Instead of dealing with doubts, thinking like that, you thought of how to go deeper into the subject. If you always think of how to go deep in the subject matter of Krishna consciousness, how to have a better understanding or a deeper understanding of the verses in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam, or Bhakti Rasamrita, then automatically doubts will be clear. Dwell on this matter. Saddharma Pricha. That is one of the important items of the 64 items of devotion. First one is Ado Guru Padashriya, the Chikshadigram. Second one. Third one is Guru or Sevaya. Sadhu Marganugamanam. The fifth one is Saddharma Pricha. That is, inquire into the real nature of Krishna consciousness. What is Saddharma? That will happen like this, what we are doing today. There is actually Saddharma Pricha. Lot of doubts are vanquished when we do this kind of study, like you ask question and you go deep into the subject. Lot of doubts are clear, and that is called Saddharma Pricha. So you said it's a topic, but the whole session is a topic itself, practically going on. Can you explain the principle of Yukta Vairagya at a neophyte stage as ours? Internet and mobile is useful for many things, but one may waste a lot of time. First is Yukta Vairagya is also a Vairagya. It is not something different. It's a Vairagya. Now, using internet is the most dangerous thing. It's like using electricity. Very, very dangerous. Not only just the internet, anything. Yukta means to engage. You can engage a thing in Krishna's service perfectly when you are renounced. Without renunciation, you cannot engage anything in Krishna's service. How do you know that you are renounced? You can know you are renounced only when you are able to live peacefully without it. So what you can do, you have a mobile with the internet or anything, whatever the thing is. keep it with some place or somebody. When it is required, you keep it with you. Use it. As simple as that. Isn't it? But one thing is very dangerous. You can use everything in Krishna's service. Never use a woman in Krishna's service. Let the woman or elderly people do that. Never preach to women on the name of Yukta Vairagya. Never try to engage them on the name of Yukta Vairagya. Definitely, Vairagya will go away and you will be Yukta. They will use you in your service. On the name of Krishna, on the name of God, in the name of God, like that. You know? They completely use you in their service. Be very careful about it. Okay, because other things are all unconscious things. These ladies' consciousness. So be careful about it. So it's a very delicate subject matter. I don't want to much dwell about it. But principally, I can say that if you are able to live without something, that means you have Vairagya. When that thing is with you, you can use it in Krishna service. But there is always a danger. How to take decisions in life. How to understand confused nature of mind. How to understand confused nature of mind. Mind is always confused. Okay, anyhow. How to take decisions in life. Very good question. For that, decision making, generally I take a seminar for the corporates. I used to take noise. Decision making is one of the seminars. To make a decision, first you should know what you want. What is your goal? Based on that, you can take a decision now, isn't it? So your decision should be based on what? Goal. So goal setting is the first thing which you have to do for decision making. Now once you have a goal set, you can decide only when you know your strengths, weakness, etc., etc., assess. Okay. So first you set your goal. What do you want in life? Based on that you decide. What is your goal in life? And how fast you want to achieve that goal? All these things have to be kept in mind. When you are taking a decision, you can take suggestion. Never consider those suggestions to be decisions. Because when you decide, you are deciding. Nobody will decide for you. Even your guru will not decide for you. Even though he may give a strong suggestion, strong opinion, but still that is not a decision. It is you who take the decision. So for that, what you should be? You should be very clear about what is your goal. First, be very clear what I want to achieve. Like some people say, I want to study Bhagavad Gita, I want to study Bhagavatam. So decide accordingly what you want to achieve. So without making a goal, it may be long term, it may be short term, never take any decision, especially never take any decision when you are alone. Never take any decision when you are sick. Chanakya says this thing. Never take any decision when you are in trouble or some kind of misery. Three situations he gives. Because you may take a desperate decision when you are in trouble and suffer later more. When you are sick, Actually, you are in depression. At that time, also decision is not very strong. And especially when somebody is intoxicated, you cannot take decision. So it's not going to last long. Many of your friends who are drunkards, last cigarette, 31st December. Today onwards, no cigarettes. My new resolution is that I am going to give up intoxication. But again, after a few days, get drunk. So, for decision making, you have to be very clear about your goal and very determined to act on the decision. For that, you need to be a tapasvi. Now, so many things are related to this one topic which you have asked, that is, how to take decisions in life. If you are talking about making decisions in life, once you make a decision, never think of doing that. And that is called a decision, otherwise it is a hoax. Okay? I can just give you a few parameters just now at whatever I spoke. Ultimately, first decide what you want to achieve, then talk about decision. And before you decide on it, take suggestions. Never confuse between the suggestion and the decision. After taking few suggestions, then you act and decide, because you got enough input. It is like a typical management. When the board of directors sit, they first set the goals, refer to the previous goals, the previous year's goals, and now they set goals. And then when they set the goals, they also see the management information report, which comes from different departments. It is like the suggestions when people give. And act on it very peacefully. Once you decide, take time to decide. But once you decide, never, even though it is a wrong thing. So, there are so many factors to it. I cannot just speak it right away. In general, I am talking. Best is you can sit with your spiritual guide and take inputs and then take a decision. How to understand confused nature of mind? The confusion in the mind is because of excessive material desires. Excessive desires. Because these desires are always fickle desires. I want it. I want this. The mind is completely confused because of many desires. Bahushakaya anantasya buddhayo vyavasayinam. Even though you have many desires, but nothing wrong in fulfilling a desire, you don't know what to fulfill, what you want. And a perfect example is a woman's mind. You go and ask what you want. I don't want anything. Okay, no problem. No, I want this. So you want this? Okay. Pakka? Anything else? No, that one. What they want, even God doesn't know. That is called mental. Go and ask what you want. They cannot say what they want. So, very much connected. When you don't know what you want, you cannot decide. If you want to frustrate a woman, ask them to decide. Let them go to a saree shop and then you can buy one saree, decide what you want. They will go all the sarees they see, but come out with one, and then they go on saying it. Show to people that it's okay. I don't know. You decide, take it. You know. How can you decide? You decide. You will suffer like that. You suffer. Make others suffer also. Why? Because the mind is totally confused and where decisions can come. So, when we are fixed up in our goal of life, then you can take it part. Yes? Generally, he will tell to chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles, very sweet Prabhupada books. That is what he generally talks about. And if you are so intimately in his mission, you may do a specific service, then he gives you a specific order. But all other things are secondary to these things. Okay. Generally, he will not interfere. It is you who decide. Like once Prabhupada, somebody, I think Kamal Krishna Maharaj, you're so hell bent on taking sannyas. Prabhupada said, no sannyas. 3, 4, 5 times, and Kamal Krishna told, no way, I cannot Prabhupada, I want it. In Prabhupada's mind, I'm just testing you. Isn't it? It may happen, all these things. So, it's not very just direct, oh, Guru has told, I'll do it. This is what Prabhupada. Guru likes that you make a decision and he approves it. That's fine. That is the best actually. You take a decision and he approves it. At my present level, too much anartha trouble. As you say, there is Krishna's mercy. We get to know our faults and can immediately intensify bhakti. But I get disheartened. This is due to less faith in Krishna consciousness. You get disheartened about it, but the disheartening should make you more committed. That's fine. If the disheartening is making you to depression and losing confidence, that is a sign of mode of ignorance. This disheartening is a sign of if it is taking you away from Krishna consciousness, then it is mode of ignorance. Guilt, feeling guilty, and being very morose, dejected, it is no humility. These are signs of ignorance. Somebody, oh, I'm so useless. Oh, it's not humility, it's depression. Like Arjuna, he's actually in depression. He was thinking, Bhaikshamya, let me go and beg Krishna. Why war and all? It's all signs of too much attachment with the body. So depression is no humility. Like some devotees also, they seems to be very humble, but actually they are different cases. It is, so it all depends on your disheartening. Is it making you more and more committed, or is that disheartening is taking you to depression? That has to be seen. Even though we know it perfectly that there is nothing but only ultimate suffering, how to avoid it? Looking them, that is lust. How to avoid it? Even though you know perfectly well that there is nothing but suffering, how to avoid suffering? How to avoid suffering? Oh, matparaha. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he talks about in 2nd chapter, becoming a matparaha. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu explains this word matparaha, saying that mad bhakti prabhavena sarvendriya vijaya Sulabha iti bhava. Sulabheti bhava. Becoming a Matpara devotee, where you are totally engaged in Krishna's service. You can conquer over lust, conquer all the senses, conquer over the mind, everything you can do just by becoming a Matpara devotee. Savai mana Krishna padar vindayor, always constantly contemplating on Krishna's lotus feet. Vachamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane. Use your tongue in glorifying Krishna. That means engage every part of your senses, each of your time in Krishna's service. Then what happens? You can control over senses. Control. So it's a great realization that ultimately it is suffering. We have done some real pious activity in the previous life to come to this conviction. Many people are not convinced about this fact. Lust is suffering. They think lust is enjoyment. Many people, they don't come to our programs because, you know why? They feel that they become less lusty. They are afraid. They are afraid of losing their taste for material things. One person really told me, ISKCON चाहता था, we met me in train, ISKCON चाहता था, लेकिन अभी छोड़ दिया गया, तो why मुझे डर लगा. What happened? Why? What happened? They started going to ISKCON. He told, all my desires were reducing. Then I was afraid. If I go to ISKCON more and more, I lose all my desires. So, it's bold that you really understood this. Nothing but only ultimate suffering. It's a big realization. Hang on to that realization, no problem. They will not do, they will say. They will not do. They will say, ठीक है, क्यों नहीं किया? पता नहीं क्यों. मैं सोच रहा था, अरे वही टाइम बोलना था. अबे हाँ बोलने को क्यों सोचते? सोच के हाँ बोलो ना. That is what I wanted to say. Decision making is you think and then say yes. Once you say yes, don't. After saying yes, retracting, that means depression. If we are fearful that because of me, service may spoil, is it not depression? How to come out of it? Or it's intelligence. It's not depression. Like for example, Chakravarti asked me, Prabhuji, can you sing Mangalarti tomorrow morning since you are in Juhu? So I said no, and then told I am not a singer. I know very well that Mangalarti will be spoiled if I sing. It is not depression. It is perfect consciousness. Service should happen nicely. So my service should not become a disservice to something or somebody. So if you ask me to give a class, then I say boldly, tell yes. Because my service it will not be disservice. It will be a service. Somebody asked me, why don't you go and cook? Then what will you say? I cannot. Because it is not I don't want to. I can help. You tell me. I cut sabji, no problem. Isn't it? That means you are conscious about what you can do and what you cannot. And more importantly, you should know very well what you cannot do. If you know what you cannot do, then you can concentrate on what you can do. Be intelligent. So if you are really afraid of spoiling a particular service because if it is given to you, you can tell. You tell, this is what I can do. You tell, I can do this thing. Isn't it? There's nothing. That shows you are very conscious about the service being done properly rather than just do something. Isn't it? Yes. Yeah. Oh, that person should be empowered to give the empowerment. Somebody like Bhaktivedanta Thakur or Prabhupada or something like that. I'm just talking the ordinary dealings here, isn't it? Huh? I say, go and you go and cook. Prabhuji said, generally, the person who gives instruction is not a fool. He knows what you can do, and he asks you what you can do. Depending on that only, say, emergency is okay. Not an emergency. In general, what is being told is according to what you can do. And that is called empowerment because you don't know that you could have done that. That's called empowerment. So, don't just get into it's very more of a managerial thing. But still, it's an important point that you should be engaged where your expertise is. And that will make you happy. Fruitful also. If you cannot do something, you can tell frankly, I cannot do this, it's my weakness. Emergency sake for a few days I can do, but ultimately I should do something else. No problem. When we engage in devotional service, but after a few years we realize that both material and spiritual activities are useless for me, then what to do? Join me. We'll both sit and chant and read Prabhupada books. Isn't it? Come, we'll just sit and chant together and read Prabhupada books. Isn't it? So these two things are eternally going to benefit you both materially and spiritually. Because spiritually the best thing to do is what? Chant and read. Isn't it? Materially, when you just chant and read, people think you're a sadhu and pay obeisances to you. Isn't it? But you should be able to do that very peacefully and happily do that. So, just come and join me, no problem. Because I only do two things, chant and read books. Only these two things. Somebody gives some prasad, I take it. Somebody asks to speak something, I speak. Somebody doesn't ask, well, sit down, what is that? Happy life, isn't it? How many are willing to do that? Very good, wonderful, nice. Nice, we require people like that. It's very difficult not to do than to do. You know that? Everybody is doing, isn't it in this world? Going the train, doing building, right, earning money, putting money, doing art. You ask, one day sit along with me, chant. What was it? So what is difficult? To do or not to do? Not to do is more difficult. Not to do is Ugra Karma is more difficult for people. You ask them, just give them Japana better. 64 rounds, 128 rounds you chant. Whenever you feel angry, tell me, I'll give you something. How many days you can do? भी बहुत मुश्किल होता है. So what is difficult? Not to do or do? So you are a perfect candidate for not doing. So sit and chant. There's 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam. Nice, you can memorize all 18,000 before you die. If somebody calls you for Bhagavatam, you can speak Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. They give you prasad, your wishes is to your words. So nice prasad, people respect you for, because you are able to do something which they cannot do. Isn't it? That is the whole purpose, to understand that material activities are useless. And all the so-called spiritual activities, which you think are spiritual activities, except hearing and chanting, they are actually all useless. They are only useful to the extent of you developing taste for hearing and chanting. Actually, Krishna Consciousness is this thing. All the preaching what we do, in a sense, preaching in a sense, different activities. The whole purpose is to come to the point of developing taste. Developing taste in hearing Bhagavatam, chanting Bhagavatam. So, that is why next verse, take that verse, third chapter, where Madhavendra Puri words. Sandhya Vandhanam Madhyamastu Bhavato Bhosnanam Natarpana Vido. Maybe has a verse. Take the verse. I'm not doing any of this. How about quotes? Shamyatam. Samakshimyatam. Sandhyavandanam. Read the translation. You got it. Gita is there. May read the translation. Wherever I sit, I can think of Krishna. It's sufficient for me. Isn't that? So if you are in that stage, or wherever it is, you sit and think of Krishna, then it's sufficient. Nothing else is required. Isn't it? How to remove duplicity? Because I always have fear, doubts. What will people think about me? Why should people think about you? There are so many things to think about. Nobody thinks about you, I'm telling you. Nobody. It's an illusion. You think that people think about you. Especially in cities, even a dog also doesn't think about you. But people are in so much of illusion. They park their so-called bike and stand like this, wearing and staying haircut, and they kind of all the jeans pant which is torn at many places, standing doing like this. The dog comes and goes around. It doesn't even pass stool, or it doesn't even pass urine on the bike or him. He goes to some place. I goes away. Who cares? Who cares? It's our illusion that people are thinking about you. Why everybody should think? They have enough problems in their life to think about. Nobody thinks about you. It's an illusion that I think that many people are thinking about me. Isn't it? So get out of the illusion. So neither people should think about you, nor you should think about whether what people are thinking about you. You think about Krishna, let them think of Krishna. Isn't it? The goal of life is to think of Krishna and to make people think of Krishna. Smartavya satam Vishnor, Vasmartavya Sarve Vidishidasya Yetayoreva Kinkara. Actually, by thinking about what people thinking about you, what people are thinking about you, actually thinking about others. Why you should think of others? Think of Krishna. And be concerned about what Krishna is thinking about. Krishna is saying, Father. Why is he thinking? What the people are thinking about? This is Umanish. This is all Umanish. So, think about what Krishna is thinking about. If Krishna is happy with you or not. If the spiritual master is happy with you or not. What is it? Nothing to do with people. What you want to do? Even while taking prasadam, too much. When I am taking prasadam, I only think of prasad. And after taking, also think of prasad. Next time, when you forget it. Isn't it? You are really transcendental. Last one. If some devotee is in mode of ignorance, if some devotee is in mode of ignorance, for the devotional service is a way to take him to, is there any way to take him to goodness? But at the same time, he will not do devotional service because he is in mode of ignorance. How to come out of this vicious cycle? First thing is, a devotee can never be in mode of ignorance. There can be a person in mode of ignorance performing devotional service, like Daksha. Because he is performing some devotional activities, we address him as a devotee. You getting the point? Like, because a person is wearing a dress of a doctor, having some stethoscope and certain scissors, doesn't make him a doctor. He's still a student. But still addressed as a doctor. You know that? In the medical college, the students are also addressed as doctors. But if the patient is given to them, the operation, they also have to like, go ahead and doctor. But it's not. So be very careful about for understanding. Address, nice is what he's saying, the devotee in mode of ignorance. But actually, he's a person in mode of ignorance, performing some kind of devotional activities. Then he addresses a devotee. Then his question is how to bring him to mode of goodness. So the question is actually not why you should bring the mode of goodness. You should make him transcendental, isn't it? How to do that? In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a description of Devayuti, the Tapila speaking of Devayuti, that there are 4 kinds of devotional service. Devotion performed in mode of ignorance, devotion performed in mode of passion, devotion performed in mode of goodness, devotion performed in mode of pure goodness. And based on these 3 plus 1, there are 4 pastimes given in the 4th canto. In the 4th canto of Bhagavatam, the first pastime is about Daksha. and Lord Shiva. Daksha was performing devotional service in mode of ignorance. What does that person in mode of ignorance do? He'll offend like anything. Go on offending. Lord Shiva. Ultimately, Daksha, what happened? He got a goat's head. So the result of devotional service performed in mode of ignorance is what? You get a goat's head. Goat's head. Now, a passion is Dhruva. He wanted what? A kingdom superior to that of his father and grandfather. So then he went to Krishna. He did not want Krishna. But still, ultimately, he got devotional service. Daksha also, at the end of his thing, even for the prayers he does, and he gets pure devotional service. Prithu Maharaj, he was performing devotional service in mode of goodness and ultimately landed in pure devotional service. And the fourth is about the Prachetas. They were performing pure devotional service and Lord Shiva assisted them, giving the mantra by standing with the they perform pure devotional service anyway. So, even though a person may be in mode of ignorance, when he is expertly engaged, maybe in passion, maybe in goodness, if he is surrendered to the process and to the person who is engaging in the process of pure devotional service, today or tomorrow, sometime or other, he will come to the platform of pure devotional service. If the surrender is not there, even though a person may be in goodness, no use. He will be there in goodness and again some Sukriti will come, some because of heavenly planets maybe because of Sukriti. So, the main thing is to be surrendered to a pure devotee. Like if you see Prabhupada Leelamrit, most of the people who were surrendered to Prabhupada were in which mode? They just came out of intoxication, drug addicts, more of ignorance and passion. As long as they were surrendered to Srila Prabhupada and practiced pure devotional service, they were. At the moment they gave up, the modes again started. So, it is not a vicious cycle as long as we are surrendered. That is why surrendering to a pure devotee and practicing devotional service, that is the only hope. Those were cow eaters and they were eating meat, they were intoxicating, they were being in that ways. Their surrender to Prabhupada made them more advanced than so-called Brahmins in South India who were chanting Veda. But in spite of that, once Prabhupada the planet, some of them they thought, let me take life casually. So some kind of devotion. Their modes again took over them. They became inherited. So this is how the modes affect a person. The moment you just give up the shelter of spiritual master, come down the platform of modes. Give up your devotional service, attacks. Modes come back. It's 7 o'clock, it's Gaurati time. We should all go. And then, adoption. Any one of the questions? Just like that, yeah. Authorities are not fools, number one. They'll tell you what is appropriate for you. Well, that's why it's an authority. Yeah. Do you think they will tell something which is not appropriate? Don't say, oh, whatever the authorities say we should do. Don't say that. The authority says something which is very appropriate for me. That is why I should do. Keep this in mind. Never do because authority ne bola isliye kar raha hu probably. That means you are never considered to be authority. If you have considered that person to be authority, what you have thought? I am doing this thing because it's good for me, and my authority is a sensible person and he knows that what is good for me is good. That means you are owning the responsibility for what you are doing. You are not throwing the ownership onto authority. अथॉरिटी ने बोला किया फायदा नहीं हुआ क्या फायदा अथॉरिटी का This is not proper. Yeah, it is management. Delegation is a very important thing. Not everybody can do this job. Only a person who has a natural tendency to understand others, they can do the job of delegation. Mostly it is the work of a Kshatriya, delegate. Those who are born in Kshatriya families generally have this art, inbuilt art. So that's or who may be a Brahmin family, but he has some Kshatriya intelligence. So they can do this thing. So it's an art which has to be developed. It is not ये करके हाँ तुम ये करो तुम वो करो नहीं. It's not so easy. It's a deep science. Because when you delegate something, you are supposed to empower the person, facilitate the person to execute that work, and any success should be given to the person whom you delegated. Any failure, you should take it away. Only a person of that kind of heart can do the delegation. You got it? It's a quality either. And for such a person, people are willing to die to work for. They're willing to give up their life serving. Because number one, you are empowering them. Number two, you are facilitating them. And you are giving the support that I am there, don't worry. And if any good thing happens, you give the credit to them, you ask them that this is what you have done. And it's a failure, then you never put them in front, you are failed. That's called Kshatriya. Iti prayati iti Kshatriya. So, otherwise, why people used to work for a king? Tell me, not because he's an army. Here, people used to die for the king and the king. Why? Because they knew this person is there for my protection. And anything harm is going to happen, he will come in front of me. There are people in the entire Bhagavatam who is glorified? Kshatriya. Ambarish Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, all Maharaj only, na? So it's an art. It's an art. You cannot say it's an art. It's more than art actually. It requires the quality of protecting, giving protection to others. Somebody has that, they can unlimited work you can get out of people. Unlimited. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. If you have it, then do it. Then do it. Then do it. Okay. Hare Krishna.